Is somebody who I've gotten the wonderful opportunity to visit with every week on the radio, and it is a fantastic opportunity to hear from one of the great leaders. You know, we have coaches from all sports who come over to the Seahawks to learn from him. There are CEOs that come to learn from him, and tonight we're going to get to learn a little bit from the only man who has ever delivered a Super Bowl championship here to Seattle. Let me welcome Coach Pete Carroll.
Way to bang that cane down there. I like it.
All right.
Hey, Dori, how about the coaches? Are those guys awesome? Those guys great. Golly.
It comes from the type of people that are attracted to you and that you are attracted to, because there is a consistency, like I just said a moment ago, in the passion and the intensity that I hear from everybody on your staff.
Well, they better be fired up.
Yeah.
Gee. Just like you guys too. You guys get fired up also, you know. We got to have it. Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you guys just a real quick story here, 20-second story. I think it was the first time Coach Carroll ever came to my radio studio. That's a big deal. You know, I have Coach Carroll in the studio. Nothing can derail having Coach in studio with me, except right as I'm going on the air, noon that day, Coach sitting next to me, a puff of white smoke came out of the Vatican, and they had just elected a new pope, but we didn't know who it was yet, and our program director came running in and said, "We got to go live to pope coverage." And I looked at Coach Carroll.
I was ready.
Well, I was thinking, man, I'm a Protestant kid from Ballard. He's a guy who a decade at USC just thrashed Notre Dame every time they played each other. And here we are doing play-by-play in color, and we didn't know who any of the candidates were. And so we're just kind of vamping for a few minutes. And finally I looked at Coach and said, "So do you have a favorite?" And do you remember what you said to me?
I said, "I don't know, but I hope he's a Catholic."
Yeah. And he was. And he was. Yeah, it was a good call on your part. All right. Tell me why are you here tonight? You're in the middle of OTAs. Why is it important to you to come and do an event like this with these fans?
Well, we have found a way here the last few years to connect with the 12s right up close and personal. And it's important because we need to recognize the enormous impact and the great connection that we do have and how grateful we are. But also, I think we need to stay connected as much as possible to keep the message alive so that you know where we're coming from and what's important to us and what we're looking for and what's happening. I think in that you guys can support more effectively. You can have a greater sense of our appreciation for you. And I think you're able to bring a little bit more because you know more about us. And so whatever we can give to that exchange, we're going to do. And so our coaches and our players go all around the states and the area here, around the Northwest, and the Sea Gals do their stuff to just keep giving back just in gratitude. You guys are amazing. And so we'll do everything we can to help you.
One of the fans who just talked with Coach Zetto, he referenced your book, and I was looking through it a couple nights ago in preparation for this. And one of the first things you talked about was the plan that you put together after your Jets-Patriots days to kind of rebuild your career, modeled after somebody who I think you and I agree is the greatest coach in any sport ever, and that's John Wooden.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you bringing that up. I needed to get my act together. I wasn't doing very well after getting fired all those times, so I had a lot of work to do. But no, it's true, though, Dori, that I did hook up. I mean, I had grown up in California, so I knew all about UCLA and SC sports and stuff as a kid, and was aware of the impact that Coach Wooden had in basketball. And I really was. I was reading after the year I was fired in New England. I was home for a little while. Glenn and I were just kind of holding up out there in the corner of Massachusetts, waiting for something to happen. And I was reading a book that's his Blue Book, and I got to a point in the book where it said in his 16th year at UCLA he won his first national championship. I couldn't close that book fast enough. I was immediately affected by it because I knew that he had coached for years and years and years, working his way up. Had coached in other schools, got to UCLA. 16 years later, he wins his first national championship. But the story is that he wins 10 of the next 12 or whatever. And once he figured out his plan, and once he knew exactly what was important to him, and he knew how to best represent, I think, the core of his being in his coaching, nobody could touch him. And so I realized that, I wasn't going to get 16 years. I might not get 16 months in my next job. So I better get my act together. And that's where really the plan kicked into high gear. And a lot of things came to me at that time. I went to work feverishly to try to put together everything that was important to me in coaching and around my coaching. And from there, the philosophy just unrolled and veiled itself right before my eyes. And it started with being a competitor, and I realized if I was going to describe myself, I'm a competitor. And then obviously competition should be the central theme in our program. And I needed everything to connect with that. So things just kind of came together in a marvelous way. And then I got the opportunity at USC to see how it worked out. And it's been really fun to watch it happen.
And over that decade at USC, you had a lot of opportunities to come to the NFL, and you said no to a lot of people. And there was something about this situation here in Seattle that was right for you. So tell us what it was. What set this apart from all the other chances you had?
It really was the commitment from Mr. Allen and conveyed through Todd Lewicki that they would give me the opportunity to do this the way I wanted to do it and give me the chance to, demonstrate all of the background and all of the philosophy, and really they would come here to support me in doing that. See, I had heard that from other teams at times, when they say, hey, we want you to be this and that, and you can have all the say-so and all. But I didn't really trust it. And Mr. Allen and Todd were able to make it really clear that this is how they wanted this to go, and I believed them, and they've done way more than even that. They've supported everything that we've done. John and I have had such a great opportunity to run a program the way we felt most needed to be done, with great support, which is not just, okay, yeah, you can do it. It's go for it and get it done, and we're here for you. And that continued support that allowed us to be strong and make difficult decisions. We've made a lot of challenging decisions. Well, let's say decisions that have been challenged, and we've done it boldly, and it's been working out. So that was really the reason. I was thrilled to be at SC. I had a great time there, and we were having really the time of our life. But this was the greatest challenge, to be in the NFL. And if you want to compete, it goes right back to the core. If you want to compete, you got to do it in this league. And with that opportunity and that support, and I had no idea. I had been to the Kingdom earlier on in my coaching career and all that. But I had no idea what I was getting into. It's been way better than I could have imagined. Way better.
So you come here with a plan. What worked perfectly in that plan, and what did you really have to adjust and evolve? Were there things where you thought you had the plan and it turned out really different from what you envisioned?
Well, really, we've done pretty much the way we had written it up, And one of the things that I was really excited about coming to the league was to bring our approach, which really the simplest way to state it to you is we try to help people be the best they can be. And to do that, you have to invest in the people around you, not just the players, but the coaches and administration and everybody that's involved, in a way that you care so much about them succeeding and being at their best that you do whatever it takes to get that done. And that's how we had done it at USC. And I wanted to see if you came to the league in the business part of football and all of that, and see if we treated people in that manner, what would happen. And would it allow us to reach in and pull out their best and be able to succeed? So it's been an experiment in a sense in that regard. And so we haven't really changed much. I had a long run in the league years before. I was in the league 16 years or something before I went back to college. And so I wasn't that unfamiliar. I didn't have to change that much. The real system hadn't changed much, so we really kept it in line. So where there was recruiting, then there's the draft and the free agency process, and so we just kind of shifted some of the time frames around. And other than that, we've gone at it with really the same mentality.
Okay, let's learn a little bit about that plan. Everybody's got their card there that they passed out, right? I want to talk about a couple things on that card. Always protect the team. Tell us exactly what that means, and how it manifests itself in how you coach up your players.
Well, first of all, that's rule number one in the program. Always protect your team is really, it speaks to conscience. We want our players to have a mindset that they're always connected to the fact that they're a Seahawk. And early on, it was crucial that we utilized that in terms of football, and we expanded. If you've noticed, we've had tremendous success in our guys just taking care of business on the field as well as off the field. And that's in part due to this mentality that you're always mindful that you're a Seahawk, and in that you'll do whatever you need to do to protect it. So that's how you speak and how you act. When you're in the media, it's how you take care of yourself off the field. It's how you protect your teammates. It's how you study and work to make sure that you're at your best, so that you can give them the chance to be protected in all ways. It's been a very good place to start. It's a rule that I work with. It has a lot of flexibility, and as all three of our rules do, so that we can take on a lot of situations and have a way to handle it.
Okay, one other thing on the card that I wanted to ask you about. It's all about the ball. I mean, I've heard that mantra from the day you arrived here in Seattle. Why did that become so important, and how important is it to your overall plan of success?
Take me back to the days back in Massachusetts when I was writing up the thoughts and all. I knew then and had been committed to for a long time that the football really is what determines winning and losing. Your ability to take care of it, your ability to take it away from your opponent. And if that is a major focus and you're successful at that, you're going to win a great deal of the time. The stats are somewhere like 86% of the time you win in the NFL. And we're talking about turnover ratio, the times that you throw interceptions or fumble, or the times you get fumbles away from your opponent or intercept the football. It's such a big factor that, to me, to design an approach for our game, we needed to make this the number one emphasis. So how I utilize this is the first thing I say to our players, the very first meeting we have of each segment of the season. There's two different times, off-season and we come to camp. I walk down the aisle. I don't say a word. I get up in front. I got a ball, and I said, the philosophy of our football is it's all about the ball. And from that point on, myself and Rocky, who does a marvelous job of supporting me on this, we try to be the best coaching staff in the history of the game at emphasizing that football and how important it is. And that's the conscience that our players have to have, and how they take care of it, high, tight, and the transitioning, and all of the wonderful things that we teach. But it's to teach that every single player on the team is responsible for taking care of that football. Now, let me ask you a question here. When we play defense, we like to knock the crud out of those opponents, right? No, we don't. No. Well, when we play defense, we like to go 3 and out and get back on the bench, right? Yeah. No, we don't. No, that's not it. When we play football, what do we want to do? Get the ball. That's exactly right. Every single technique, tactic, scheme, strategy, approach, everything that we teach is putting our players in position to go get that football. Well, let me give you a couple stats. When we were at USC, and this is when it really became the same emphasis there, when we had a plus turnover ratio in games over the 8 years or 9, whatever, however long we were there, we were 53-0 when we had a plus turnover ratio. Well, that's a ridiculous stat. I mean, that's way beyond what normal stats are. Since we've been here, I think we're like, I can't remember the numbers, but something like 28-4 or something like that. It's ridiculous numbers. And so, you may not agree, but I'm going to make you understand it through the process of this coaching. I'm going to drill it into you and hammer it into you day after day after day until we're as good as you can get at it. So. All
right, one other thing I wanted to ask you about, and because like I said at the beginning, you have coaches from all around the world who come in and you mentor them, you let them get exposed to what you're about. You have CEOs who come in. You have one quality that I wish I was better at that I think we could all learn from. I'm going to tell you what it is. 3 days before the Super Bowl, Coach Carroll's doing media day, 1,000 media from all around the world there. And as soon as he finished on the podium, he and I had to go tape a radio interview. So we went off into a side room, and I'm thinking in your head, I mean, you're the defending world champions. You're 2 days away from trying to defend your championship. I'm thinking your head's going to be going in a million directions. What amazed me about that interview, and I notice this every week when we talk, you were lasered in on what my questions were. You didn't give me any cliches. You were listening. You got to understand, I have a wife and 3 daughters. I'm not used to anybody listening to me. But here's the Super Bowl champion coach, and you were lasered in. And you talk about that in subtle ways elsewhere, about you want your players to be in the moment, be where they're at. I think that you do that as well as anybody that I've ever met. And is that something that you acquired? Is it something that comes natural to you? And what do we do to all get better at that?
Well, what you're talking about is mindfulness, being mindful in the moment, and that's a discipline. It takes discipline, and we feel that when we're in the moment, as purely as we can be, that's when we have the best opportunity to give our very best to that moment. And so that's where the confidence and the trust that we gain through the process is able to come to the front, because when you're totally immersed, that's when your focus is at its best. Well, all we want from our players is them to be the best they can be. We don't want them to be like somebody else or like something they dream about. I just want them to be the best they can be. And the best way to do that is to make sure that you're available for the moment. So that's nice to say that, but with that alone, it doesn't get it done. You need to practice the discipline that it takes to be right in the very moment that's at hand in everything you're doing. So if I can't do it, I can't expect them to do it. So I do work hard at it, and I do work with the thought that I want to make sure that I'm giving everything I have to that opportunity we have right in front of me. We have to practice this in every way that we can. Whether it's the mantra of every game's a championship game, that's a discipline. It's a discipline to get that done, which sounds like just rhetoric in football, but what that's calling for is for us to play at our very best, the best we're able to be in every single game forever from now on, as long as we're together. Well, that's not enough to get it done. To practice that discipline and appreciate that focus, we have to do it on a month-to-month, a week-to-week, a day-to-day, a drill-to-drill, a step-to-step basis. And so that's what these guys are continually convinced of learning how to focus on. So we want to be more disciplined than anybody can be at focusing on capturing the very moment that's in front of us. And when we do that, we don't give up much. We don't miss much. We're there for the opportunities, and it allows us to be at our best. Not only that, it allows us to enjoy what we're doing as well. We don't miss it. It's not, we're not missing the smell and the roses and all that. We're trying to be there for all of it. So it's way more than just words. It's not just rhetoric. This is really a focus and a discipline that it has to be constant. And so I certainly have to live it if I expect them to do it.
Well, I appreciate everything you bring to the radio shows that we do together, to all of us. We have some questions.